We just figured out how many club shoots. Well, you figured out how many club shoots, not just shoots, like times you've been away this year. How many times?
28.
28? I thought it was 27.
Aye, I missed one out. So that's not just club shoots, that's events,
Yep.
that's shooting for people across the Access group. It's just any sort of time we've not, and that doesn't include shoots in here.
Aye,
Like
no.
ads, like any of that stuff is on location. Shoots face to face with customers, building relationships, that sort of stuff. 28 times, so once a fortnight.
Once a fortnight, aye. But then it didn't work like that. Sometimes it'd be condensed into like quite heavily condensed.
Aye.
And we figured that out because we were just back. We were both in Ireland, but not together.
No, unfortunately not.
No, but I'm glad you said unfortunately not. I'd have been very hurt. I was over there at the Can You Dance event in Belfast at the Icon Centre, braving that crazy storm. And if you're listening to this in December 2024, then you'll know Storm Bert. And yeah, we braved that. And you were?
I was in Dublin at the Project Fashion Young Designer of the Year Awards. We were out there shooting some content for them, and I saw 0% of that storm. It was smooth flying, smooth landing, smooth takeoffs. It was
That's great. We got a ferry, yeah, and there's more stories about that to come. I'm sure we'll do a little mini podcast between now and Christmas about Can You Dance. But yeah, the ferry was fun, and as you can hear, I've got my 3 years in a row that we've done this podcast. In this exact time, I've got the exact same throat. It's just phone my doctor and they say, "Yep, here you go, some antibiotics again." It's just the exact same thing every year. But anyway, I lament 28 shoots in a year is quite a feat. We're going to double it next year.
Oh, aye.
Or we're going to work smarter, not harder.
Nah, work harder, not smarter. That's my philosophy.
I mean, that has been quite some year. This is your second year. Then you're approaching the end of your second year.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
pretty much.
And it's been what I keep wanting to do is get a map with like a pin map for in here somewhere,
Yeah.
or even maybe we'll speak to our graphic designer, like a wee animated beginning, you know. So it's like and you see the wee pins in the map.
Indiana Jones map with
Exactly.
the red line.
Yeah, it comes out and then you can see, because we pretty much covered the whole of the UK. I think. In fact, the only place maybe not is like up north Scotland.
This year, no. We didn't go anywhere further north than Glasgow.
Yeah, right enough. Aye, I'll need to remedy that.
Last year we were up Perth way and whatnot.
And even Edinburgh last year at some point. For,
Yeah.
We'll need to remedy that. We'll come up and see you soon. We'll be up there soon.
Aye,
North
absolutely.
Scotland, Ireland, Northern Ireland, London, Manchester,
Wales,
Chester. We've never been to Wales. That was the first this year. Chester, Liverpool, Birmingham. I've been to Birmingham more times. Have I said Birmingham already?
Yeah,
That's because I've been to Birmingham more times than I've ever been. I'd never been in my life until this year.
Me either.
And I've been about 5 times. It just seems to be the kind of central Midlands hub. But yeah, so been a busy year. We're not done yet.
Not done yet.
We have a great podcast that Brian interviewed today.
Yeah.
We have JR Coaching and we have James Richards from JR Coaching. Brian, tell us a little bit about the interview before we listen to the full thing. Don't give it all away.
I'll not give it all away. I'll keep something up our sleeves. So it was actually a really great conversation with James. He's got such an entrepreneurial mind on him, and he just kind of hit the ground running with JR Sports Coaching. So he's the director, founder, everything, whole shebang, built it from the ground up himself. And he's got a bit of an old school mentality where he really likes the face-to-face contact with his customers, potential customers, his clients.
Nice.
He likes to pick up the phone and just get business done right there and then, and he talks a bit about that. He's also in the fortunate position, we talked about staffing, and he would rather wait it out and have his vacancy until he finds the absolute right person for the role.
That sounds like a good
rather
idea.
than just fill a role. So he's really his head switched on, and he's dipping his toe into the wraparound care sector, and I think there's nothing but big things on the horizon for him.
I mean, I was very surprised because obviously you done this interview down the line and I was watching you edit it, and he's a young guy. I mean, this isn't like a 30, 40-year-old guy that's kind of, he's a young guy with a big old head on his shoulders, a big old school head on his shoulders, which we really like. But yeah, I mean, seems like he's got everything laid out in front of him.
And it's a very familiar story that we hear in the kids' activity sector because he comes from a football background. But circumstances made it so he wasn't able to take the professional route, but he still stayed within the football industry, something that he loves, and he built JR Sports Coaching from that. So still coaching football, still being in the football world, but not necessarily playing at the professional level.
Well, I think that is a good intro to what we're about to see. So welcome to In the Club, and let's go to Brian interviewing James from JR Sports Coaching.
So I'm James Richardson. I'm the director slash owner slash founder of the JR Sports Group, JR Sports Coaching. Um, yeah, so I do all the sort of everything from the directing level to coaching under sevens on a Saturdays to marketing to every part of the business you could think of. I have a role in and enjoy doing.
Nice. So like a almost like a kind of one-stop shop. That was the idea when you started then.
Yeah, I mean, like any business, start with a one-man band, just me, a bag of balls, and yeah, literally it started from me emailing a few schools from my Gmail account when I was 20, and just sort of hoping to make a little bit of extra money on the side while I was playing football. And then one got back, I started doing 2 after-school clubs, football clubs a week at one school, and then ran a summer camp just after COVID for 9 days over the summer. And we had good sort of 30 to 40 kids came, and then from there things just grew. Like the camp side was a lot bigger side of the business, but obviously, word of mouth, teachers, schools. Like I know I spoke to people in the industry and they gave me good advice, and then slowly schools kept going, pick up some PE contracts, which are more, long-term things, and you can then start to employ people. But even so, that was 2021. And even then, like I remember I employed my first person back in November, but he was, doing 2-3 hours a week for me. His mum was driving in places, stuff like that, because he can drive and just do our school clubs. And then, we fast forward to today and we work with sort of 25 schools and nurseries. We ran 4 summer camps in the summer with over 2,000 bookings. We're doing wraparound, we're Ofsted registered. There's 24, 25 weekly staff members, which is, yes, hard to get my head around sometimes, but I still sort of mucking with absolutely everything. So I just, yeah, obsessed. Just love it.
Why was it you decided to start all those years ago?
Um, Quite frankly, like I did a bit of coaching. Like I'd done a bit of, I played football at quite a decent level. Like I played for the England schoolboys, trials places, being at places, professional firms. But I just um, didn't quite work out, injuries and everything like that. And so I started, I had to sort of finish school, get a proper job. You can't just sort of, you know, sit around all day. So I started coaching. But I just, it's quite friendly. I just didn't really think it was ran that well. And I was traveling a bit for it. So like I said, I was playing football on the side, getting paid a bit of money. So I just thought, I'll see if I can do something closer to home and just make a little bit of extra money on my own. That was generally the bit it was just going to be. This was on the side of playing football. And then it's just gone from there, really. It's just fallen into it. I never did business at school. Never, I watched The Apprentice. That's probably the best sort of, Dragon's Den. That's the best. I didn't have any clue what sort of a balance sheet was or anything like that. Um, so yeah, just fall into it and then just sort of fell in love with inspiring the next generation of children to enjoy sport. I mean, making sport fun for everyone is our philosophy and our motto. So that's sort of what I just fell in love with doing.
We see that it's not a unique story there. Like guys who had aspirations to play the game, and then it's something that I talk to quite a lot of people about where they're in love with a sport or they're in love with an event or something, and they want to do that professionally, and for some reason it doesn't work out. But they initially didn't realize that there's still opportunities to have a career associated with what they love. Like some guys going to do like yourself, like coaching. There's referees, there's physios or stuff like that. They can have a profession related to like football in your case, that they might not have thought of originally, so they can still have that life inside, like, and be associated with the game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's like, I mean, people, professional footballers, professional sportsmen, they get people, adoring fans, you say, all the time. And uh, now it's a bit like I'll walk to Tesco and I can't go in Tesco now without a mum, a child going, oh, hey, James, or, or now, or other things have grown now, like less people know me, more people know my staff. And they now get that if you walk around in certain areas. Like I've moved specifically when I moved house to a place where we don't do anything, and I'm keeping it like that because it's quite nice, you know. But like you said, you still get it's nice that they're almost like really these little children are so happy to see you because they clearly regard you in such a high way, and like it's similar to, I guess, not on the same level, but similar to that thing. Everyone wants to be loved and have praise, and that's sort of what I found.
How do you, this is kind of related but unrelated, just when you're talking about the kind of the kids sort of looking up to you guys, how do you go about finding or looking for the right sorts of like teaching staff and coaches that can have that sort of relationship with the kids?
I think it's honestly the hardest thing I found, especially I mean I'm in 23 myself now, so like managing people, I had no experience in it, no nothing. Like only of how like a football dressing room is run. I only found out a couple of years ago that you can find someone in a workplace like you can in a football changing room. So I very before I even tried to introduce that, otherwise you can get in a lot of legal trouble to find someone for being late, etc. But I think it's the hardest part of running a business, staffing, like the host, because I want a particular person, but you're never going to find someone who is got as much love for the business as I do. But it's about finding the people who just, I don't know, that because coaching is quite a simple. Anyone can coach. I think a lot of people coach, but there's a few characteristics that confidence, the confidence to just not take yourself too seriously and just get down on the child's level and be fun and silly with them at times. Also have that be able to switch up and be strict when you need to be strict, when you need to make sure they're listening, um, and just to be as well like a good people person, because you're not just dealing with children, you're dealing with the teachers, the head teachers, the parents, the grandparents. So it's about people who really can tick all those boxes. And I mean, I won't lie, I've had I've had my struggles with finding the right people, and it's balancing between I really want to get these contracts in and this work, so I need to find some extra staff, but not going and picking the first people you see, to really sort of waiting and waiting. And actually, I think I heard something that a bad staff member can set a business back a couple of years. So I've really sort of tried to make sure that the right people, and I'm really really happy with the team I've got at the minute. Like it's I've got some managers in part places things, and just everyone's gets on. Um, Everyone, we get really good feedback. It's a really good staffing environment that we've got now.
Nice. That's good to hear. It's good to hear that you're not willing to settle just for any old person to fill a role, that you are actively waiting for like the right person for the right role. And that's something that not everybody's fortunate enough to be in that position, but you've kind of like taken it in your own heads. Like, no, this is a really important thing. These people are dealing with kids, are dealing with the parents, are dealing with the teachers, so it needs to be firing on all cylinders. And that's great to hear. That's really great to hear. What makes your business stand out?
I think probably the personal touch that's put on it. Like I, I say that a lot, this lot, but like the work ethic I have, like I'm genuinely obsessed. Like anyone is like my girlfriend would tell you, anyone would tell you, like I'd check in emails at 9, 10 o'clock at night, just love it. Like any ideas, I wake up in the middle of that, think of an idea, write it down on my notes. Like just I don't stop. Like the obsession I had sort of to make it to the top, try and make it as a professional football player, is sort of transferred to this. I'm always checking in with schools, checking in with coaches. I'll ring all of my coaches during the day, all of my staff members, to try and ask them how their day was, what we can do better. And the same with the schools. If ever like there's any concern, or if a parent has any questions, I'll ring them, or I encourage my staff to ring them. So I just think that personal touch of um, a human's voice is just so much better than an email or a text, because you can misread. An email might sound cold when it's not meant to be cold, or a text. So just really caring, just trying to go the extra mile of everything. Because I think everyone's gonna make mistakes. So if anyone does make a mistake, it's about the parent or the school realizing actually you're gonna go that extra mile to try and fix it, and then to try and make sure that never happens again.
Yeah, that's cool to hear in this kind of like technological age, where I think it was through the pandemic people got so kind of like stuck in speaking to people through email, through text, like virtually, and for you to say like picking up the phone and actually having those conversations face to face, so to speak, is something that you prefer doing, because it's almost, it's a step back, but it's a step forward at the same time. Because I think a lot of there's a certain generation that appreciates like voice to voice or face to face interaction, and that kind of like speaks volumes that you're pushing towards that sort of thing, because it can, that's the sort of thing that can make or break a relationship. Like you were saying, one email read wrongly, if somebody's in a certain mood, it can like blow the whole thing up.
Absolutely. And to be honest, I think things go quicker. Like we had a school get in touch about a contract just then, cry out something. I just rang the business manager instead of emailing, because something we can get for a 5 minute telephone call is probably about 10 emails going back and forth. It just,
Yeah,
it moves things quicker. Quite frankly, I'm not a big fan of typing and like writing things out. So just, it takes forever. And, it's always thinking, is that phrase right? Is that right? But actually, when I'm saying it myself, I know exactly how I want to say it, exactly how I want it to sound, and it's a lot easier to come across. And I just think so many people appreciate that a lot more. Like, if ever if a child's got hurt or not had the best day at something, you just ring him, and they really, really appreciate it. And it just, what we also encourage our coaches to do at the end of the day, after school clubs and wraparound cares and holiday camps, is tell the parent one good thing they did that day, because then it really, I think parents really appreciate that they've, that you've not just gone, oh, off you go, back you go. You've actually gone, oh, John was really good today. He scored a great goal or something like that. So it just, it just makes the parent feel, most children go back, they go, how's football? Yeah, good. And then it's just
yeah,
back they go.
yeah. That's nice to hear as well, because it's the parents, they're investing in the time, they're investing in putting those kids through those classes, and just to see that thing at the end of the day, oh no, yeah, your investment, it has been worth it today. They were really great, etc. That sort of thing is just a reassurance, like, oh, we're in the right place, because these guys actually care about the well being and the progression of the kids, and I think that speaks like volumes as well.
No,
Just to
absolutely.
have that sort of feedback.
And I think going back to your question about the staff, I think that's why sort of I try to grow at a nice pace rather than, like, obviously you see some fantastic growth in only going 3 years, but it's now got to a stage where I'm not doing very much coaching, so I need my staff to be the people, like I said, that are relaying this to the parents and having the confidence to do that, and the fact they are is great, and that it'd be great to go get another 20 schools, but to try and find 20 people in a short space of time that would be able to do all that and do it at that level is not realistic, and it only harm the business in the long run.
So when did you first see the opportunity with wraparound care?
um I'll be honest, it's again something I just stumbled upon. Like, I've never really written a business plan. Like, it's not really anything like it was I owe a lot to this one school that sort of and this one business manager that gave me my first chance sports club, and I met with them at the end of the year, and they said, I asked, what is there anything else we can do with them, and it's about a breakfast club, and I thought, yeah, sounds great. Sort of 5 hours a week, 7:45 to 8:45. Not many people are doing stuff during that, and it's neat, necessary stuff. So just starting that sounded great, and then another school got in touch about the after school club, and then about an after school like wraparound club, and I had to do a bit of research, and you find out you got Ofsted registered, and then it really started from speaking to people in the space, and then seeing that the government have released that it needs to every school by, I think, 2026 have to have a wraparound provision. So like a 7:45 to 6 or 8 to 6 provision. So obviously then to allow parents to be able to work more. And then you start doing the maths, and you think, actually, if every school needs one, there's gonna you're gonna be a demand. Obviously, there's companies been going 15, 20 years that are in this space, of course, but it just there's always going to be a gap. There's always going to be people looking for it, and it's sort of growing from there. And then I really tried to push that side of things, but obviously, what I've really tried to learn is delegation. Also, things I don't know much about, like my background, sports, wraparound carers, and majority sports. It's a lot of other things as well. So I brought someone in to sort of be my head of wraparound care, and she's been unbelievable. Like, we try to do it because some wraparound cares, I know it's fine to do it this way, just have staff letting the children just play, do what they want. We try to do it a little bit more structured. We have a main theme which calls it we call it kinetic learning. It's all learning while doing. So we have a theme day, so like an art day, a crafts day, but there's also a sporting option as well. So one teacher does sports, one teacher does arts and crafts, and then for the first hour and a half, they're all children are always they're having fun, but they're also doing engaging things. They're not just playing with doll houses and stuff like that. It's then the 4:30 to 6 when there's not as many children, where there's a bit more time to free play and to play with dolls houses and we'll play them. But we try to really make sure it's a little bit different because then I think schools as well they want to be able to offer the best thing. They don't want to just see sort of staff stood hands in pockets while the children just play dolls for 3 hours.
How easy or difficult is it to form relationships with schools?
Not as easy as I thought it would be. When I first started, I thought I was really naive. I thought 5 schools here. I thought I emailed. I thought I'll just bring them up. I'll just email them. They'll probably all be in touch wanting a football club. Well, obviously the first one got touched within the first day, so I'm thinking off they go. But we'll get 5, 6, 7 here, and then you realise you speak to them, and some receptionists are lovely, some don't want your time of day. And then you find actually word of mouth is better than anything you can do. I could go give the best presentation, the best pitch to a school I could give on the phone, but all it takes is another school business manager to tell that business manager how good we are when they're looking for something, and it just fits. Like, so I think word of mouth, and it goes back to sort of what I said about us standing out, about really going that extra mile. I think a lot of people appreciate it. People talk about it, and that's really how I found I've got some of our best contracts of asking head teachers to speak to other head teachers for us and giving them a discount then if we get a school, just sort of compromising and different types of marketing techniques. But it's you go in spurt, some just pop up. Like I said, we got someone I knew, I've known for a while, contacted me and asked if we'd been interested in running an after school breakfast club at a school. They knew, and I was like, yeah, of course. But then he's put me in touch with the business manager, and then we've got a meeting set up. But otherwise, if I would have called that school, they'd have gone, oh yeah, maybe, never would have heard back. So
Yeah.
sometimes that works, but it's generally like, it's just making sure that you've got a lot of different plays in your playbook and learning to not just give up when a receptionist goes, oh no, we're not interested.
It's the kind of old adage of if you build it, they will come. If you just plod along, keep on doing what you're doing, like at the level you're doing it at, people are going to hear about it. And it's kind of testament to that yourself. It's the invest. It's not really the investment in the class. It's the investment in you and what you're putting out there and what you're saying you can do.
Absolutely, and I think that's why I still do, but I've really tried not to take it personally when they're not interested, but I do. But like, it really sort of, you get your hopes up, and then you do take it personally. But at the end of the day, you just go on again, and if it is to be, it is to be. The thing with wraparound and why I think it's an area of the business I really want to grow is that it's essential. Like, the sports clubs we run are great because it's good to have a gymnastics club from 3:15 to 4:15, but if you're a working parent, it probably doesn't make much of a difference if you finish at 3:15 or 4:15. But what it is if you're finishing at 5 or 5:30 or 6 or 4:30 or some, it just, you've got a sustainable consumer base because you've got children are always going to be around. Parents are always going to need to work, so there always needs to be that childcare. And the same with the holiday camps. Like, obviously, we're coming to October, our term, notoriously a very up and down one for numbers, but certain parents are always going to need it. Summer parents are always going to need it. Even around Christmas time, always going to need it. So I think that's the main thing about wraparound care as well, is that it's a necessity. It's not a it's nice to do this gymnastics club, it's nice to do this football club. It's a necessity, and it's hence why the government are making it a priority.
So on that, the government is investing £289 million in wraparound over the next few years. Do you see a bigger uptake as a result of that?
I think more people, I see more and more, like I try to make sure I stay in touch with a lot of the companies around me. So, you sort of know what they're doing, what they're pricing at, stuff like that. So, you're comparable. And I've definitely seen people, companies like that try to get more involved in the space, because obviously, £289 million is not a small amount of money. It's it's quite a large amount of money to invest in something. So clearly, when there's money there, a lot of people try to get there. But I think now I've had that, couple of years of experience of really trying to build something in that place. I've really sort of learned some of the by trial and error, but learned the do's and the don'ts, and something where I know we're getting there, and it's easier to get contracts. I know you sort of, all the templates are in place, the risk assessment templates in place. Dealing with Ofsted, I know a good contact at Ofsted where it's easier to get things registered, where you're not waiting 5-6 months to get things done, and I guess the best thing is smoother. So I definitely think that more and more companies are going to get involved, and therefore more and more children are going to get involved, and more and more parents now, because there's so many good schemes. There's all the childcare vouchers, there's the government tax-free scheme for parents. So they're doing really well. They're doing everything they can to try and make it affordable for parents. So, what do we charge about £8 for an hour and a half from 3 till 4:30, which, if you think about it, for a day, with it get a snack, everything, it's very cheap. But if you have to spend that every day for 9 months of the year, it does add up. So the fact that really trying to make sure they can subsidize things, help things, I think it's really a really good step in the right direction.
If people want to get in touch with you to come along to classes, if they want to follow you on social media, if they want to get in contact with you, where can they do all of that stuff?
So our website is jrsportsgroup.com. If they want to get in touch with me personally, james@jrsportsgroup.com on the emails, and then our socials is just JR Sports Group on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I have someone who runs that. Socials isn't my expertise, but we post regularly. If anyone has any questions or exciting opportunities, I'd love to get in touch.
What a guy, eh? As you said, the guy is like beyond his years. It just seems so sort of wise, and his business is all mapped out in front of him. And what I really liked was he didn't take knocks. Well, he didn't. He got knocks, but he never took them. He never took. What's the song? You get knocked down, but you get up again.
Yeah.
That's him, and he kind of just has turned any of those what could potentially have been negative situations into positives. So he's got a real good kind of not just business mindset, but kind of mental mindset to kind of plough through like that.
Absolutely. And one of the kind of the biggest things about him and the biggest things about growing his business is he's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
I think that goes a long way, especially when he likes to pick up the phone or he likes to go for a coffee, and he's just got such a nice, welcoming personality, and he's just a nice guy to talk to.
Yeah, it seems like, I think this business was initially built on nice guys, wasn't it? And just people that were really engaging and wanted to talk. So he could go. We say this in here a lot, but he could be as big as he wants. He really could be as big as he wants. So yeah, very good interview. So what we got next? We're nearly at the end of the year. We are crawling towards the end of the. Oh, I feel like we're crawling a little bit now.
Wee bit.
Because we've just done so much. We're no longer going away, right? So this is different from us. We're not going to any club shoots or events now until the end of the year, because everything's done. It's all about prep now for 2025, and we've got lots coming there. But yeah, it's so this will go out. This will have been out in it'll now be end of November, December if people are listening.
Yeah.
And we've got one more we're going to drop, which is going to be a Can You Dance special, and then we've got a nice little thing that we're going to do at the end of the year, which we've not actually done before, which I think could be quite nice. But we won't.
Nah, just drip feed.
Drip feed.
Like a wee breadcrumb trail.
Okay, cool.
To arrive at the big prize.
The big prize, that's it. Prize. Ooh, everybody tune into that.
Disclaimer: we're not giving anything away. It's not that kind of prize.
No. Please, managers and things in here, we're not asking for budget for prizes. Well, we are, but we don't have any for this one. So the prize is a metaphorical prize.
Exactly.
An audio prize. An audio surprise. But yeah, no, great interview, and I think we can wrap this one now.
And a wee bow. Wrap.
Oh, you've been hanging about me too long.